Well, hello there, people of the internet, and hello again. I'm TheMBmulti. Welcome to part 42, I believe, of My Doki Doki SNAFU. In the previous episodes, we started out figuring out how the Rika route looks like, and we're going to continue that. So far, nothing super special has happened. Some hints at some deeper meanings behind her obsession with sports. And but for the most part, we've only been interacting during the track team meetings. So let's see where this goes, because this is the kitchen from the protagonist, of course. While getting ready for a light morning jog, the track team's manager comes to mind for some reason. Wonder what Rika does normally on the weekends. Can't imagine her doing anything productive in her free time, given how much she slacks off during practice. Bzzz. Incoming call, Rika. Damn, speak of the devil. There's a brief period of paranoia as I imagine her somehow knowing about the trash talking before I finally answer. Hello? Hiya, senpai. Are you busy right now? Busy? You're not? Great. Guess that should be expected though. It's not like you have anyone to hang out with on the weekends. This punk. Since you're not doing anything, meet me at the train station in 20 minutes. Don't dwaddle. No. What? No, don't dawdle. What the fuck? If you're late, I'll tell Coach Taki I saw you sneaking into the girls' locker room. Wait, what the hell were you? The call ends. Ugh. How do I keep attracting people like this? Letting out a sigh, I decide to obey my orders and prepare to leave the house. To the... What the hell? Did it say the leave the house? Yeah, prepare to the leave the house. Turning down the street leading to the train station, my luck turns around as I spot the arrogant team manager not far ahead. Oi, punk! Huh? Whoa, senpai, you actually came. That's crazy, I totally asked you last minute. You're not, like, in love with me or something, are you? It probably has more to do with the fact that I was blackmailed with an expellable offense. Huh? You were? Who could have done that? You little punk. Falling into my teach a cheeky brat a lesson routine, I begin violently ruffling her hair. Ow, not the hair! You're gonna make the ponytail come undone. Not gonna lie, but that doesn't really sound like my problem. Now, why don't you act like a good little underclassman and explain to me why I'm currently on the way to catch a train? Okay, just ease up, would ya? She slides away as I release my grip and begins rubbing over her head. You're not secretly one of those guys who likes hurting girls, are you, senpai? Not girls in general, just a select few. You should take pride in how quickly you were able to make the list. Ugh. Maybe I should have invited someone else. You mean call out of nowhere and threaten? Don't be such a drama queen about it. Anyone with half a brain could have figured out I was joking. I just thought you'd text me afterwards being like, wow Rika, you're so random LMAO, and not put me in a headlock. Did you honestly believe I'd ever respond to anything in that way? If so, I'm afraid you're not very good at understanding people. Yeah, that's rich coming from you. So, what was this invitation of yours actually for? Is it safe to assume I don't need to be here after all? No, that's... Her face begins taking on a shade of red as she suddenly fumbles over her words. Ahem. While you being here may not be necessary, you have already come all this way. Wouldn't continuing to tag along be the most reasonable thing to do at this point? That's hard to say considering I still don't know what it is I'm doing. Well, I was kind of planning to go into town for some shopping. And pray tell, what possessed you to call and invite me? That's a funny story actually. You see, one of the other team managers and I agreed to hang out together after our meeting at school this morning. But she sort of had to bail in the last second. And I had already told my dad I'd be gone for the day, so that's where I come in. She nods her head. You said you had a meeting, right? Is that why you're in uniform? She nods once more. I live in the opposite direction of the station, so going all the way home just to change would have been a waste of time. And the idea to bring clothes with me to school and change there didn't occur to me until about 10 minutes ago. Honestly, this girl is nothing but trouble. Hey, don't look at me like that. I can tell what you're thinking. If that were true, then I'm sure you would have stopped associating with me a long time ago. Huh? Was that supposed to mean something perverted? No, but the fact your mind went there first gives me a better idea of the kind of person you are. Don't try turning this around on me. You're the one who's always staring at me with lewd eyes. Also, by the way, in the previous episode, the jewelry she was wearing, it was topaz color or whatever. And I said topaz is blue, but I'm pretty sure topaz is yellow actually, which makes sense because of her eyes. And the reason why I thought of that is because in Terraria you can actually mine topaz, and I believe it's yellow in Terraria. So I just kind of wanted to reiterate that train of thought that I had after I finished recording. You flatter yourself. Believe me, I doubt I'd ever register your existence if not for your thighs? Her face becomes a deep crimson color. I knew it! You really are a pervert! Haven't you ever heard the saying, all men are animals? I'm simply trying to conform to the standards that have been set for me. Perhaps if someone wasn't always calling me socially inept, situations like this wouldn't happen. That aside, it's true I didn't have anything planned for today. So if all you want from me is to go along with your shopping, I'm game. Not gonna lie, I'm beginning to think I'd rather go alone. Well, it's no skin off my back. See you later. Fine, you can come too, okay? I swear, you get the perfect opportunity to spend quality time with the cute underclassmen and you're immediately willing to walk away? Is this why you're single, senpai? Doubtful. I'm sure there's more than just one reason. She shakes her head. I may be letting you tag along, but you better keep your eyes above the skirts, you got that? Otherwise the joke from earlier is gonna become reality. Understood. I'll be sure to keep a tight lock on my libido. Then come on, let's get going before we miss the train. Wouldn't want to end up stuck with you for longer than I need to be. Yes, ma'am. My brain doesn't begin putting together the pieces of my current situation until about halfway through our ride. The main question is, why are we taking a train into town to begin with when the closest grocery store is only a few blocks away? This thought throws me so deep into rationalizing modes that simply asking Rika never even crossed my mind. The answer I eventually settle on is maybe she shops at some specialty. Maybe she shops at some specialty wholesale grocer I've never heard of. There we go. Unfortunately, my guess ends up being a little off. Hey, it's the mall we went to with Sayori. Rika, why are we here? What do you mean? I said we were going shopping. Well, that may be true. I was under the impression you meant for groceries or perhaps at a convenience store. Huh? What girl means groceries when talking about shopping? He's some kind of middle-aged housewife or something? I knew you were in a bad way, but I had no idea you were this clueless. And you really should lower your expectations. My ability to disappoint people is on an Olympic level. Do you actually hear yourself when you talk? I find it's better to tune it out. Maybe I really should have come along. Great! See you at practice! Stop walking away! You say you want me to leave, then yell at me to stay. Talk about being hard to please. Are all women this complicated? The only complicated one here is you. You're supposed to be my senpai, right? Then do senpai stuff. Act responsible, teach me new things, enrich my life experience. I'm an upperclassman, not a guru. And do you have any idea who you were asking now? What part of my personality leads you to believe I have any life experience? She lets out another sigh. Out of all the senpai I could have gotten stuck with, why did I get a useless one? Fate can be a cruel mistress. Hey, you're preaching to the choir. Well, since we already came all the way here, where were you planning on going? I was thinking about buying a new summer outfit. Seemed like a good idea given how it's been getting warmer outside. Plus, I'm kinda tired of only wearing sweats and tank tops. Finally developing a fashion sense, huh? Congratulations. Oh, is this really coming from the guy whose clothes have all the color range of a noir movie? Thank goodness you have a school uniform, or else your closet would probably look like an abyss. Well, there may be some truth in that. Speaking of uniforms, do me a favor and hold this, will ya? But you better not do anything weird with it. She doesn't even give me time to respond before shoving her blazer into my hands. It smells like you. What did I just say? Calm down, will ya? I'm only joking. And you shouldn't be so quick to assume people will do what you ask simply because you force it on them. Huh? But everything seems to work out whenever you're the one I do it to. Well, I'm something of a special case in regards to following orders. You mean like a yes man? No, nothing that mindless. Rather, my experience with demanding people is what warped me. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? Oh damn, maybe I shouldn't have brought this up. Alright, answer vaguely again. There's really not much to say. I simply grew up around someone you'd probably consider demanding, though complicated may be a better term. Following orders and jumping when I was told to jump was pretty standard back then, so you could say it is ingrained... That's the wrong it's. Ingrained... No, actually, no, never mind, it's not the wrong it's, sorry. It's ingrained in me to some extent. Is that why you're always acting so military with Coach Taki? Not exactly, that's more of an authority thing. My issue deals more with people who force themselves into my life against my will. Hey, you say that like there are actually people trying to get closer to you. You'd be surprised. You're one of them after all. The hell's that supposed to mean? I'm not... Well, it may not have been your idea. You were still put in a position where you'd be in close contact with me. In a situation like that, where I don't have much control over the distance I keep between myself and others, well, I'm quick to submit to the circumstances. She stares at me confused for a moment before casting her eyes toward the ground. So you're saying you would have ignored me the same way you do everyone else if not for Coach Taki. Something like guilt overcomes me as she says this, making me realize that honest answer would likely do more harm than good. Well, who can I say? Given that personality of yours, I doubt you'd have left me alone for very long. Heh. I definitely would have steered clear had I known how much of a pain in the ass you'd be. And I'm sure no one would blame you for such a decision. True that, but as long as we're stuck together like this, I might as well make the most of it. Plus, there's no telling what horrible things you do without my supervision. I'd probably start blackmailing my underclassmen to go on shopping trips with little to no warning whatsoever. How horrible! To think the senpai I looked up to so much would stoop to such levels. Well, whatever, I guess I shouldn't expect much more from you. Likely having forgotten the original topic, Rika returns toward the storefront. Now then, let's get this party started. She exclaims this before beginning to walk towards the nearest clothing store. What was the point of me tagging along if she's just gonna take the lead like this? Letting out a sigh, I reluctantly follow her after her. Hey, this is the store where we saw Sayori with her swimsuit. She immediately scans over the place as we step inside. Looks like they've got a lot of new stuff. New, huh? You come here often? Are you trying to use a pickup line on me? Sorry, senpai, but I'm afraid I'm not looking for a relationship right now. She bows her head while wearing a mischievous grin, clearly unaware of the other customers currently looking this way. Do you have to react to everything I say? Well, if you're asking whether I'm contractually obliged, you know, punk. How does it feel being on the other side? Huh, senpai? That medicine of yours tastes bitter? Don't you know it's irrelevant to act so similar with your seniors? Ooh, irrelevant you say? No, that's not what it says. Irreverent. Look at Mr. Literature Club member over here flashing the big words. How long have you been sitting on that one? Since hearing it on the radio drama last Thursday, my desire to use it in casual conversation was actually the only reason I agreed to come today. Eh? Is it bad that I don't know whether you're joking or not? Probably says more about me, but I digress. Are you planning on looking on at close anytime soon? Our little comedy routine is probably starting to annoy the staff. Annoy is right, but you've got a point. No use in standing around wasting time. She happily trots over to the women's summer section while I instead look for a place to sit down. Unfortunately, unable to find a place to relax, I end up spending the next several minutes browsing through the shoes I have no interest in buying. This existential boredom ends when I see Rika standing with her arms full of dresses. Just how many were you planning on buying today? Only one? Not skipping a beat, she continues sliding clothes down the rack. Excuse me if I'm mistaken, but you do know how to count, right? She looks in my direction, prompting me to point at the towering stack she's currently holding. Looks like a little more than one. Well, duh. I'm not gonna buy all of them. I just need to... These are just the ones I was gonna try on. Even though she doesn't come across as girly, it seems even Rika is prone to this sort of thing. Guess this is about all I'll find. I'm going into the dressing room now, so try killing time until I get done. Maybe look for some clothes that don't scream generic. Kill time? Does that mean you don't want my opinion? Huh? On what? I was under the assumption that this was one of those cliched events where you tried several outfits while asking what I thought of each one. Well, isn't that something only a boyfriend would do? I'd feel kind of weird having you do it. Not to mention, super embarrassed. Embarrassed? Nothing, it's nothing. Just mumbling about how you should feel more shame when asking a girl to change clothes for you. A fair point, though I'd appreciate if you didn't say things like that so lightly while we're in public. Her face grows red as she sees the two employees currently staring at us. Well, seeing as how I'm not in the market for new clothes at the moment, I'll just wait outside until you're finished. At least then I'll be able to sit down. Right, good, that's fine. Still acting anxious, Rika quickly disappears into the dressing room. I wonder what's got her so angsty. Maybe she's afraid of being seen dressed like a normal girl. Oh, here's hoping she doesn't take too long. After taking a seat on a nearby bench, I can lean back to better relax and take in the sun's warmth. It's so peaceful, I'm afraid the universe is bound to notice and throw a curveball in my way. Sure enough, after about 2 minutes of pure bliss... Mark? Is that you? Oh, hey, Kiba. I look over to find a familiar face staring at me in awe. Holy hell, it's really you! What are you doing out in public? Would you mind not saying that like I'm some kind of convict on the run? Oh, sorry, I'm just super surprised. When I saw you all sprawled out, I thought maybe you'd been killed or drugged or something. How much of a shut-in do you think I am, really? Exactly. A huge one. Little punk. Reclining once more, I try to regain the tranquility that was so rudely stolen from me. Not taking the hint, Kiva steps over and plops down right next to me. So, why are you out here anyways? Get evicted? Run off by the HOA, whatever that is? Oh, and what's with the blazer? Is believing I came here out of my own volition really that hard? Yes, incredibly so. Plus, why would you have come all the way out here just to chill on the bench? Doesn't make much sense considering how much you hate being around lots of people. out of all the times you could be rational. Well, there's nothing really worth hiding. I'm only here because of a member of the track team invited me. Huh? Invited you here? He looks at the clothing store before taking on an eerie expression. Tell me, Mark, this teammate of yours, they wouldn't happen to be a girl, would they? And there goes my cover. Well, something like that. Oh god, what the fuck? Stay away from me! He grabs my shoulders and begins violently shaking me before I can finish. You got invited to go shopping with a girl and you're sitting outside relaxing on a bench? Are you stupid? You wanna die? Chill out, you psycho! I know you're denser than a lead brick, but come on, man! There are guys who would be willing to commit unspeakable sins for a chance to trigger an event like this. That willingness is why they're single to begin with, and why are you so gung-ho about it anyways? This is your chance to raise the flag so many of your brethren never managed to reach. Don't let them down. Sorry, but I don't recall having any brothers. No more excuses. He tightens his grip on my shoulders before staring me dead in the eyes. You're gonna go in there, right now, and offer to buy her whatever she wants, okay? And why would I? No objections! You're not hurting for cash, right? So why not? Surely acting dependable for once in your life won't kill you. A fair point, but you're still misunderstanding the situation. While I claim to have been invited, it was really more like blackmail. So? I don't care if it was blackmail, voodoo, witchcraft. She still chose you, didn't she? Kiba, you sound like the kind of person who would... You sound like the kind of person who, would be picked by a yandere who would hold a knife to your throat and you'd still be like, yeah, I see nothing wrong with this. Whether you were her first, second, or a 34th pick, you're the one who's here now. So get off your lazy ass and go back in there. If you don't, I'll tell Sayori you've been skipping the club to come oogle girls with me at the pool. More blackmail, huh? Neat. I seriously doubt she'd believe you, but if it means getting you off my back... My temples feel increasingly tight as I stand from the bench. That's the spirit. Now go in there and... What? No, go in there and... Her. You mean get her? Again, we're not like that, but whatever. Consider this a favor. Heh. Walking back inside, I soon spot Rika stepping out of the dressing room. Yo. Find something you like? Yep, a really nice sundress. You'd totally fall in love if you saw me wearing it. Perhaps, but I've never felt that way about a piece of clothing before. I meant you'd fall in love with me, not the dress. Should an underclassman really be yelling something so cheeky inside a clothing store? Huh? She quickly glances around for witnesses, while her face becomes increasingly red. Well, we should go ahead and check out if you're finished being heedless. Oh, what happened to waiting outside? There was a change of plans. Figured I'd finally act like the responsible senpai you're always going on about. So you consider rushing me to check out responsible, huh? That's certainly part of it. Now then, if you would. She watches confused as I reach out my hand. Huh? You're not trying to ask me to hold it, are you? As pleasant as that experience sounds, I meant the dress. Huh? So, you're into wearing stuff like this too, senpai? She takes a step back. Sorry, but I'm afraid cross-dressing isn't a hobby of mine. I only asked because I intend to pay for it. Huh? Why would you do that? Why? Let's say this is a reward you earned for putting up with someone who has such a horrible personality. Huh? Not convinced? Or perhaps you don't intend to accept my offer. I mean, I'm not one to complain about getting free stuff, but your reasoning sounds super suspicious. You're not trying to rope me into some prank or scheme, are you? And if I were to confess this was merely part of my grand plan to seduce you through a mix of gifts and enchanting conversations? Heh, I'd say you're punching way above your weight. Then it's fine, since that was never the goal to begin with. Now, how about we try this one more time? Once again, outstretching my hand, I watch Rika pause. Oh, I watch as Rika pauses for a moment before finally handing over the dress. With this exchange done, we head towards the cashier. She happily swings the bag holding her new clothing item, it was only one dress, as we step outside. Thanks, senpai. I'll be sure to think of you every time I wear it. Just kidding. But wouldn't it be hella weird if I did? Haha. You're certainly acting a lot more chipper. Don't tell me you were offered strange substances before I came back inside. Nope. You'll be relieved to know I gave up on the nose candy a long time ago. Truly wonderful news. But if not for drugs, then why the sudden change in tune? Because my super nice senpai bought me a gift, obviously. Isn't that enough to make any cute underclassman swoon? Would you get mad if I said only the easy ones? Incredibly! Good, I'll keep it to myself then. She smiles at me with a murderous aura for a while before beginning to speak normally again. Well, buying me a dress isn't that big of a deal, but I do still appreciate it. More than anything, though, is how relieved I am to see you've got at least a little sense for this sort of thing. Maybe that coral-haired cousin of yours doesn't have it so bad after all. How many times do I have to tell you she's a friend, not a relative? Good one, senpai. I didn't know you had a sense of humor. My temptation to put her in another headlock wavers, and I soon find myself resting my hand on her hair instead. What are you doing? Why the sudden head pat? Oh, sorry. Force of habit. There's something like disappointment in Rika's eyes as I retract my arm. Well, it's really not a big deal. You just surprised me is all. Surprised? Shouldn't head pats be par for the course when spending time with such a cute underclassman? Expecting her to be smug about being cool. What? Expecting her to be smug about being called her cute. That her should be gone. Rika defies my expectation by bashfully looking at the ground instead. If that's the case, then I don't mind. What does she mean by I don't mind? We probably shouldn't stand around here all day, you know? Let's go somewhere where we're not in the way. Right, I'll follow your lead. Darn right you will. Oh, and before I forget, she snatches the blazer I currently have resting on my shoulder and begins examining it. If you're wondering whether I've done anything unorthodox, you can rest easy. Unless of course you count smelling it. Smelling it? Why the hell were you doing that? Just how obsessed with me are you? She takes a step back while crossing her arms over her chest. What do you expect when it was barely a few inches from my face? Plus I said smell, not sniff. Try thinking things through next time before letting the perverted side of your brain run loose. Don't act like this isn't your fault. I bet you said it that way on purpose. Well, they do say anything's possible. I knew it. You're a trash senpai after all. And just when I was starting to see you in a different light, she lets out a dramatic sigh before placing a blazer in the bag alongside her new dress. So, what now? I'm guessing you weren't planning to leave after buying a single dress? Honestly, there isn't anywhere else I need to go since this was my main reason for coming. Should we try catching the next train back then? Are you kidding me? We've literally been on this side of town for less than an hour. Here, let's just do some window shopping for now and see where it takes us. There are loads of stalls and restaurants in this place, so we can grab some food once it gets closer to lunchtime. So we'll essentially be wandering around aimlessly until you've been here long enough to justify spending the train fare? Sounds great. Did you know sarcasm turns you ugly on the inside, senpai? That a fact? Don't worry though, I'm sure it couldn't possibly make things in there any worse than they already are. Little punk! No, come on, let's get to browsing already. Oh, and I'll be sure to make lunch your treat today. Yeah, I'll follow your lead, Miss Manager. Yeah, damn right. An obedient senpai is a good senpai after all. What am I, a dog? Still looking smug, Rika takes charge and begins dragging me through the shopping complex. We turn down a familiar street not long after leaving the station. Man, I feel like time really flew by today. Don't you think, senpai? Faster than if I hadn't been forced to accompany you, I suppose. Come on, are you still hung up on that? Sorry for taking blackmail so seriously. Guess I'm just old-fashioned. Jeez, you got to spend the whole day with me because of it though. Isn't that more than enough to make us even? Wow, Rika. I'm always humbled by your immaculate modesty. Right? I really am something else, aren't I? You couldn't be more right. That aside, I'd appreciate more of a heads up next time you decide to invite me somewhere. Oh, thinking this will happen again, huh? Aren't you a bit too optimistic, senpai? Or maybe you think buying a single dress was enough to win me over? Not exactly. Just thought I'd make finding a replacement for me easier after I refuse. Tss. But you think you're real clever, huh? Incredibly so. It actually frightens me sometimes how quick-witted I am. Well, laugh while you still can, but I'll make sure you regret it during our next practice. Using your authority to threaten people? How responsible. I swear, you're so not cute. Take that up with my parents. They're the ones who gave me the ugly. Don't go trying to dodge the blame. They say what you see on the outside is a reflection of the inside, right? Unless you got your crap personality from M2. Disregarding your philosophy, I'm afraid that isn't the case. See? Don't think you can coast through life without taking any responsibility. Hearing this from her is especially irritating. Hold up. She suddenly stops as we reach a crossroads. You going that way? Yep. I'm guessing you're not. Is that your way of suddenly trying to invite me over? I keep dreaming. How unfortunate. Looks like I'm in for another lonely night then. Given how bad you are at talking to girls, you should probably get used to that feeling. Oh? And where exactly is your boyfriend? Please. I could get any guy I want. Stop looking at me like that. Honestly, I was able to get you to go out with me, wasn't I? Nothing. Stop being so nosy. Bleh. She sticks her tongue out at me before turning and heading into the opposite direction. Right. See you at practice. Some pressure appears in my temples as I start towards my own house. Wonder what's gotten into her. Sociability increased by 5. Alright. And we're back on the track. Alright, let's see where this heads in the next episodes. See you later, Romans. Walete.